Hi guys, once again, welcome to the Raj Jassal podcast. And as I always say, I do this podcast just to learn more about music, learn more about the music industry, the whole works. And today I've got a guest who's probably got so much experience in music, from percussion, from playing with some of the greatest artists ever from Punjab and beyond, and also one of the greatest studio engineers, producers that our industry has produced, really. And I would say is underrated, even because the amount of talent that my guest has got today is phenomenal, and also his links in the Bhangra industry. So I'm really excited for this one. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. Buddy, that's all. Come on,
Okay, I'm Raj Jassal, Desi Dark Child, and I just want to say it's nice being on this podcast, man. Been looking forward to having our little chats and stuff, and finally we're here. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah. I'm really excited about this one because I've had Shinda on there, right? And he was phenomenal, and Tubbsy, they're my two favorite ones at the moment, and yourself, because they're like industry legends in it, so, and including yourself. So this is another big one for me personally, especially with your experience. So we'll start off, just tell me a bit about your well, tell me how you are first. What could that
Yeah, I'm good, all blessed, to be honest. I lost my mum back in 2022 August.
Yeah.
And that took a big impact on me mentally as well, like stressed me out. I think losing a parent really hits home. And when that hits home, it gets carried into your music as well, because your emotions and your way of thinking, everything changes, and it changes quite instantly because that's when reality actually hits home, when you actually lose a mother or a father.
Yes.
In fact, any member close to you, your family, when you start seeing them, like your older generation disappearing from this earth and going to the next chapter, it actually is a wake-up call, man. And I've only just sort of like started to get my emotions back in track to continue. Hence why Alcohol Volume 1 is already out there, and Alcohol Volume 2 isn't released yet due to all the stress and anxiety and all the build-up and all the stuff I've been going through, emotions. It's held the album back quite a lot, and I'll go back to it and it gives me emotions again, because legendary Umar Singh Litera, who's actually on Vol 1 and on Vol 2, he's no longer with us either. He died just before my mum. He passed away sadly with a heart attack outside the hospital as well. They rushed him. He got to the hospital, died outside the hospital. So, life is what it is. You just got to make the best of every day,
And the truth is, I don't think you ever recover from a parent passing. You'll never be the same.
I think a parent passing is one of the biggest loss on earth that any human being could face.
Agreed.
I mean, I don't want to go too political, but if we look at Palestine, right, and look at what's going on there, and parents are losing their children, I can't even imagine what they're going through. I'm sorry for what they're going through, but I don't care about religion, caste, who you are, what your background is, but that kind of loss, I don't know how these people are coping with it, because me losing my mum here in the UK on genuine medical terms is being difficult to cope with it, but losing someone instantly, I can't even imagine it.
No,
to be honest.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I've actually seen, like, I follow you on social media and stuff. In the past few years, I have seen a change in yourself as well, and I think it's been it's not a negative change, but I've seen you I've seen a lot of positivity come out from yourself, bro. In your social media, in your lives and stuff, and that.
when people know me that know me, right? I'm not a negative person anyway.
No,
In
no.
reality,
Yeah.
regardless of social media, what I post and what I don't post, is anything I post, I'll try and post the truth and how I feel.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people look at the ਢਿੱਡ 'ਚ
Lucky.
ਦਰਦ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗ ਪੈਂਦਾ, like they've had a bad curry and they want to go
Oh,
to the toilet. So,
lucky ਜਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ.
ਨੂੰ ਦੁੱਖ ਲੱਗਣਾ, they're either a part of what I've said, or it's not aimed at anyone specifically, if you
No.
notice, yeah, but either ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਰਾਬ, ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਲਟ ਡੀਲਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਧੋਖਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ, then that will hurt them, and then they will make that into something it's not. And I've never ever gone on my social media and mentioned someone's name unless they've got across my path in that manner. And I wish everyone well. There's plenty of room in the industry. You've just got to keep at it and show your determination and dedication. If you could show that in the industry, I think that speaks in volumes. And I've done that. I've worn the t-shirt and done it,
100%.
And like yourself, I mean, you know the struggles in the industry. ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ, ਕੋਈ record company ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਸਾ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ. It's whatever boat you're in, I'm in the same boat. So we're all ਲੱਗੀ, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਾ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੱਥ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਸਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੱਥ ਨਾਲ ਡੇਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ. You with me? So whatever our goods are, whatever gift cards give us, is how you deal with it. Mine is straightforward, no BS. Talk straight to the point, keep it clean. If they don't like your deal, Paji, tera rasta udhar hai, mera rasta idhar hai. Simple as.
ਇੰਨੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ, ਇੰਨੀ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ.
And ਲੋਕਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਝੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਯਾਰ.
Yeah. So I wanted to start off. Just tell me a bit about your background. Which area were you born in? I'm assuming you were born in Birmingham.
I'm Coventry lad, pure Coventry lad.
I don't know why I thought you were Birmingham, bro.
No, Coventry.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਭੁਲੇਖਾ ਪਿਆ ਯਾਰ.
ਮੇਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਾਨਕੇ ਆ Birmingham, Wolverhampton mainly ਹੈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ.
ਅੱਛਾ.
So when my dad initially came to the UK to work, he was in Wolverhampton initially where it started, and but I'm born and bred in Coventry, man. Proud of it as well.
Absolutely.
ਸਾਡਾ ਨਿੱਕਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਘਰ ਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਨਿੱਕਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਆ Coventry. ਨਿੱਕਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਪਲੇਸ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਕੈਮਰੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਟੋਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਐਸੀ ਵੀ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ 'ਚ ਧੱਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਖੜ ਜੀਦਾ. ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜੁੰਨੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਫੋਟੋ ਖਿੱਚਣ ਤੇ ਕੈਥੀਡਰਲ ਦੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਉੱਧਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਘੁਮਾ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਖੜ ਜੀਦਾ. ਮੁਫਤ ਦੇ ਫੋਟੋ ਆ.
I don't work far from Coventry. I work in Warwick, so just down the road from there.
So, you're literally around the corner then, yeah.
Yeah. So if we have like any staff dues or stuff on it, we normally go to Cov. We had a kick in there, one of those panic rooms.
Oh yeah.
When they need panic rooms, so you got a room and you have to solve the puzzles in there with your team and
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one of those. There's one in Cov. I forgot what it's called now, but we was there a few months back. So then we went to, and they got a Radizio there as well, no? Radizio,
sorry?
Radizio Rico.
Oh yeah.
The meat place. So they've got that there as well. So we went there as well for work too. Yeah, Cov's good. Got some good memories in Cov. Yeah. So tell me a bit about your background, about you growing up in Cov.
Well, like I said, my background started from my mum who were in Wolverhampton, and my uncles used to sing. And then on my dad's side of the family, we got Raj Jassal, who's a known lyricist, Tumbi El Goje, bad boy. Even before he was known in the UK, I've got recordings, the small 1/4-inch reel-to-reels, the Piranha tapes.
Yeah.
Got recordings like my dad's kept, and bless him, he's passed them down to us now. And I was listening to a couple only a few months ago with my brother, and them recordings are when Raj used to sing with his, because he used to be an ex-military guy, and he used to sing, and they used to have a little jam every time my dad would go to the bend. They'd get the Bajan Tolki out, his brother played Tolki, the instruments galore, and it's good to know that kind of background. And so that side of it, on my dad's side of the family, that's always been there. then my mum may have encouraged it in the UK towards my brother and myself, where I didn't actually learn, I didn't actually learn. I was like a peeping Tom. I used to look in the keyhole in the front room while they're having a drink, and my mum was smacking the stall key up proper, and I used to love it. And they'd be singing Qualis and so on, Bhangra songs. They'd
How
take
old were you then?
and be okay, and I'll be listening, and my dad will be clapping. Just a standard Saturday in my household was mum may coming down on a Saturday for about 11:30. Jar samosa pakode, smelling the whole street out, and I lived in the Hillfields, and sare de kar lago lagi se gaye, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you can smell one of the cooking in the garden, and the kids will be us lot will be playing, football in the back, and on tricycles and all sorts, man. It was crazy life. It
Isn't
was a
that gone?
brilliant.
It's gone now, isn't it? That's you'll
These
never get that
these
back.
phones, man, I don't like the phone business anymore.
Yeah,
It brings back too many memories of the good times, what we had, and then you got these
100%,
phones.
bro.
Kids are stuck to it, like that's not life, is it? You got to
No.
go out there and experience making a go-kart out of wood and all that,
Yeah.
And we did all of that. That was sort of like upbringing, Nali music and that.
Yeah.
My mama leave is do you remember the Banksy's bitter at all? Like the big beer barrels.
Yeah, yeah,
They
Banks,
used to
yeah.
be big,
Yeah,
look
yeah,
where
yeah.
they built,
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
least about a foot and a half
Yeah,
and
yeah.
about
And
7 inches. Yeah, it did this, yeah, coffee
yeah.
Monday. And they were like a talkie size, a medium
Yes.
talkie size.
Yes, 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 yes.
And like when my mama never bought his talkie down, he'd be jamming, just doing a shalla thing, but the sound was pretty decent. And I don't know how he done it. He used to like play, and then my brother used to sit there because he was the older one, and we weren't allowed near the older alcohol when the old men used to drink it, so to speak. And my brother was the only one that was allowed in there, so it was like a private session. And then my mum would be like, teaching him a few little moves there and there. And yeah, it was crazy times, man. And I sort of remember them times because I picked up quite a lot on them times as well, And we had like other people, members like my chacha. He lived across the road, and his brother-in-laws, my chache that lived around the area, they'd come down. We as a Jassal family, we got quite a lot of talent within the family. It's like my chacha, he's very close with Hans Rajans, and he was the first one to bring him into the UK.
Wow.
Back in the days, yeah, the first 80s era, it was my chacha that brought him into the UK, yeah.
He was massive.
Jassal, yeah.
Yeah, and Hans was like one of the number ones.
He wasn't known. He wasn't known at the time he was getting up there, you know what I mean? That's the time I'm talking about.
Was this when his first album came out?
He had his first album come out when he went back to India with the white cover.
Was his first album Jogia the Kannavich, or was that his second?
I can't remember. I think it was his first, Jogi and the Kanna.
Yeah,
but there was one particular song. I remember it was that Neetu Dam 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 Kadile Sone Sajanada. It was something like that, and I remember that song because I had the opportunity to play with Hansraj from a very small age. I was only about 8-9 years of age, and my first experience was with Hansraj and Kuldip Manak. But Hansraj wasn't nothing major because he wasn't known as what he's known as today. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've had some major proud moments where I'll be playing and people will pick me up off the talkie and start dancing, and there'll be a whole percussion section missing while the guys are singing, and they'll be like, "Oh, sada munda ta tera kado stay there, you're not talking me on that," you know what I mean? And it'd be like funny. They just pick me up and start dancing, and I'm like, "Great, I'm getting a few quid for this." It was fun, They were fun times, man. Good memories, fun times. Yeah, man.
So
I love it.
How did your mamaji start learn Tolk?
My mama actually learned from a Pakistani guy. I can't remember his name. That's like you're going back really deep into and we'll need a different time for that story because I'd have to research that myself, like
Yeah.
how my mum sort of like busted his hands on them levels. But
Yeah.
what was to be quite honest, my mama wasn't the best percussionist,
Yeah.
but he just had a few connects, and he started playing, and when he started playing, he got into it that much that he started picking up techniques from the Pakistani ustad he had,
Mm.
and yeah, he then they started a few bands, local Bhangra bands. My mama's last band, the last band was Chanda Group in Wolverhampton, but he was with the New Star group. I don't know whether you remember it.
No, I don't remember the new stuff. I remember Oriental.
There's a guy called Bakshish Jamala. He
Bakshi.
was a part of the band, and Geet, Mega Geet.
I remember
My
Geet. Yeah. Yeah.
mama knew that singer, and you know what it was? Um, the gigs were more important than rehearsals. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Back in them days, it was like, चलो इतने टोल की बात जा खड़ा कर दो स्टेज पे दो स्पीकर होंगे सी one amplifier, four mics, off you go, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
Wajah talkie, straight raw folk, you get me? And you know, like it was in songs that Anari sang, Haini Mere Lus Lus Kar Deang, them songs were wedding bangers. You know what I mean? Back in them days. Today's market, you got a big selection of what you want to play or what you want to sing. So, you know, it's a totally different industry now.
Yeah. To be fair, like any parties I go, right, like the same songs like the Illustrious Guardian is still played at the end.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I remember. See now, this is what I'm talking about when we talk about songs. I've done a quali in my alcohol album, and it's called Painkiller. And basically, that quali, I made it so that we could play that at the end of a gig, like they used to play Nitakera Mungas
Yes.
or Sufi Kalamia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people dance to it.
Yeah.
If you listen to Gurdas Man's original Shalla, is sung with depth and it's sung with a bit of motion, yeah?
Yeah.
And people get up and start dancing to Shalla.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line with Bhangra? You know, where do you go? Where don't you get up and dance? People are dancing to sad songs.
And those songs are always played at the end of Sajjanal. That's not a Bhangra song, but it's played at it was played at every party, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. And even that song, people start, you know, they got the glossy in their hand and they're on there with the lads on the dance floor. You know, it's like an anthem now, isn't it? So, you know, them kind of songs always going to get played, and they're evergreen songs.
Yeah.
At the same time, we got to move forward with the times as well. You know what I mean?
What do you think was different about those particular songs, like the songs you just mentioned? Because, like, you don't get that same nostalgic feel with any either that or I'm getting old.
You know, we have a very strong heritage. Punjabi culture is a very strong heritage of family life as well.
Absolutely.
And with the family life, yeah, it was bringing back a few home truths. Satya Galla, yeah. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਸੱਚੀ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਦਿਲ ਚ ਆ. It doesn't hide anything. So that kind of, I'm using that as an example, is with Sajjana, Shalla, all of these things people related to personally. And that's the same with the Hira, the Opera Sangeet. People related. It had a community feel in the language that was used, in the Punjabi lyrics that was used, yeah? Not the language, sorry. It was more so the lyrics that were used. Everyone could mingle in.
Yes.
You know, everyone took a part from that song. Everyone could act a part. It was easily done. Nowadays, you can't even act a part. You can only sing and make a poxy reel and try and get likes and shares.
Yeah.
You know, it's a totally different market. So them days were family-oriented songs, family-oriented days, and even a man drinking with Kushi could play a gummy song and it'll still feel a bit of cushy
Yeah.
because it's all related to ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਏ ਆ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਆ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਮੋਰੇ. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of prospects.
Yeah. And India's changed so much. Like that was a snapshot of when we were young. But if you go India now, their Punjabi is totally different to ours. Like when you and I are speaking, you know, it's we've almost got a snapshot of 70s, 80s Punjabi. Yeah, whereas if you go India, swag, art,
we tend to put a bit of a slang in our Punjabi.
Yeah.
And as Kerry said, we loves and he say Nickel there, you get me.
Oh.
And all Punjabi bowlers, they make sure they're on 100% to the point. It's like our English is probably better than a lot of countries and a lot of places, but that doesn't make us good, does it?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We use the words like in it, that kind of thing, the slang. Hello? So, and they've got their slang. You get me?
Yeah.
When I sat with Manak, he said one thing to me years ago. Many, many times he said it. Sorry, like many, many years ago, he said it to me. And I was still a kid. He goes, you don't have to learn Punjabi to speak Punjabi really well. He said, you just got to know how to speak Punjabi. Next minute, I turned around, we're at KFC, all gone like a up here. He goes, oh, hey, Changi Tara Loon Leke Aao KFC there. This guy back in the 80s, bro, you get me? So, I carry a lot of memories, and I carry a lot of regrets. It's like, only if I had that, only if I could do this. You can't turn the clock back. And I'll say this to everyone, whatever you're going to do, just get up and do it, man. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Good or bad, just get up and do it. One day you'll correct it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how did you start learning Dolak?
I didn't. Like I said, I used to just sneak around in the front room when my mummy used to play, and I just used to listen. And then my dad had a vinyl record player. I don't know whether you remember Ferguson, the company Ferguson. We had
the electronics company.
It was a record player, a slim one, with two speakers, and it had the record player and a cassette player on one side, all in one unit, and the radio was on the front fascia. So my dad, he used to blast that every now and again. We had the coffin one as well. We had the coffin record player as well, the one that was like a coffin with two speakers built in. We had one of them. I think me or my brother broke it. I can't remember, playing football inside the house. But so my dad used to play all the old songs like Kuldip Manak, Eskang, Lotake Legi, 1971, the record from 1971, the original record, the small vinyl. And I've got that here with me. I listen to that still to this day. And it's such a classic record. And it's very loose music as well. It's real. You know what I mean? It's actually like it's recorded in real time off stage or something like that, the way it sounds. So, I grew up playing donkey to that first. I only knew one child. That was it.
Like if you got told, did you watch your Mama G playing, or like if I pick up a tool, like I'm not a percussionist, and I would think, okay.
When I got confident, was my dad kicked me up the butt, and how I got confident was when my dad was coming back from work in Hillfields, there was a meat shop, a butcher's. And that butcher, I've forgotten his name now. He's a lovely guy. He's well known in the Asian community, in Punjabi community. Punjabi banda si apna. And my dad was coming from work, and I think the buses got delayed or something. And he used to work on the other side of Coventry, right? And that's near the Coventry airport. He used to work in a factory called Mother's Pride. So he used to get a bus from there into the town centre, and from the town centre back home into Hillfields. So what happened? That bus got delayed or something happened. I can't remember. And I was just like 7, 8 years old. And that bus got delayed and my dad started walking. by foot back home into Hillfields. As he was walking, it was a Saturday. It was about like 1:30 time, and normally my dad would grab some meat on the way home, or stop off at the bus. However, anyway, he walked into the butcher, and the butcher started talking, and he goes, "Oh, meko singer aaya par munde ढोलकियां नहीं लभदे, musician नहीं लभदे." And then my dad goes, "Well, my oldest son's already in a band, which he was with Parwanda Sangeet." And he goes, "My other lad, he's trying to play. If you want to try him, I'll bring him to one of your rehearsals." He goes to the butcher guy. The butcher guy's Das Tikia, that was what they called my dad, Das, innit? His name was Ramdas, and everyone used to call him Das. So he goes, "Das Tikia, koi nahi fir aapa kanu mil lende a. Tusi munde nu le aayo, ja main gaddi ch chak lenda." My dad goes, "I'll pick him up, I'll be ready with him." Because I was underage and that, my dad didn't let me go on my own, which is quite a blessing. So we've gone to this rehearsal, right? And there's a Vajja player. He stunk off this oil that they use in India. That's all I remember. He stunk, bro. When he walked in, all I could smell was his oil. I think it was mustard oil.
Sarod
Sarod tel, I could smell it. Bro, I'm not lying. I didn't even know what it was back then. And my dad's like looking at me. I'm looking at my dad. And then suddenly, the skinny guy walks in with a big turban. Massive turban, yeah. Skinny guy. Patala ya muh, jida roti nahi khadi hundi for a couple of years, yeah. Bless him. He walked in and he goes, "Acha kaka, tu main na ढोलकी bhi honi hai fe." And he put his hand on my shoulder and he really squeezed my shoulder. I was like, "Man, what are you doing?" I'm an English guy,
Yeah,
At this stage, I'm a Goda-minded guy. I don't know about this pendu, touching and all this.
Yeah.
So he was a strong guy, the skinny guy. And when he did that, next minute, he pulls out this one-string instrument. Didn't even know what that was then.
Wow.
And he started tuning it up to the guy with the Vajja, the mustard guy. I call him the mustard guy now, yeah. He started tuning the tumbi to the mustard guy, and off they went. I didn't have a clue where to start. I didn't have a clue. Then he goes, "Main English de vich tenu count karuga." That's how he spoke to me.
Yeah.
Broken Punjabi, yeah. And I understood straight away. I got, okay, ji. Everything was okay, ji, yeah. I was a polite lad, you know what I mean, back in them days. And, I was only a kid, so, my mum and dad give me manners like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, he's tuned up this, his instrument, and I pulled out my bongos. I didn't have a ढोलकी. He thought I'm going to have a ढोलकी.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled out these bongos, which were tuned up like a ढोलकी. Yeah. The bass was really heavy. The top end was like a tabla, like plastic, tabla skin, yeah, like a proper ringing. And he goes, "Kaka, ढोलकी किथे?" I go, "This is all I got." I said to my dad, my dad goes, "And nine for my dad was more like, with the butcher guy, they were having a couple of shots, ducking and diving under the table, you get me? So my dad goes, don't worry, and they pate takadele munde ne khada mera pote a sher ya pate takadele. So my dad's getting all tough. And behold, I did not know this guy's famous. He was already famous in India. And I'll tell you who he is now. Mon Mastana.
Okay, wow.
And he sang the song Jogi and the Kannavich Kachadiya Mundara. Right? And then he sang Vangana Shinka, Guriye Vangana Shinka. It was an LP done by with the female singer. I can't even remember their names. And if you look him up on YouTube, Mon Mastana hits, just what Mon Mastana hits, all his songs come up. And check this out, the Mustard Boy started playing, the Tumbi was all in key. Off we went. He started singing his opening song, Vangana Shinka. And like I said, I didn't know where to start, where to begin. So anyway, I just blended in. And when I started playing, the guy couldn't believe what he was hearing. He thought he's in heaven at that stage because the percussionists he only knew one Torah, a couple of straight slammers. I was only 8, 9 years of age. I've actually posted a picture of the Punjabi paper in Coventry that advertised that
I've
show.
seen it. I've
And
seen
I'm
it.
sitting like a little kid on a massive talkie. That was the muster guy. They bought their instruments, their vajjas on that, because you couldn't get that here, right?
Yeah.
So the talkie player they sacked him off and they put me on his talkie. And next minute, I'm in the papers, like performing with this guy for 3 hours, mate. I don't know how I survived. I can't even tell you whether it was just the hype or I had too much Coca-Cola. I don't know, mate. You know, I did them shows, and we didn't do one shows. We did thousands. I'm not even going to lie. Show after show. You know, I was wagging school. I heard my
Crazy.
teachers, they listened. I was skipping school, man, to do these gigs.
Wow, man.
You know, my dad even told me to calm me down, like, you know, don't go I'll tell him not to go. I go, no, Dad, you give your word, let's get it done. He's not here for that long. He's only here for another couple of weeks. Let's just get him done. And then I found out afterwards he stayed here 6 months and I regretted it. I regretted it as well, you know what I mean? And then that was one story. And then I got the Manak one where I didn't even know who Manak was either.
So how old were you there when you did the first experience with Mon Mastana?
Mon Mustana, bro, I was only about 7, 8 years old. I was a little bit younger with Manak. I was only about 7, 8 years old, if that. Look at the picture if you've seen it.
That's crazy. I think I've seen a different picture then. I've seen one when you were a teenager.
No, the teenager ones were later, you know.
Yeah, I haven't seen the other one. I've seen your teenager one.
But, you know, this picture, yeah, I had a lot of messages. Bro, is that you? Is that you? Yeah, that's me. And I don't even feel embarrassed about it, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it was enjoyable. It was great. And the thing was, right, I gained a lot of stamina. You know, people say rehearsal makes you better. It was
Yeah.
that kind of thing going on. And, you know, I learned a lot about rags. I learned a lot about singers. I learned a lot about tuning. You know, if you bounce off one another in a band.
Yeah. Wow, man.
That's how it was. So they were teaching me a lot of techniques. He was teaching me a lot of pendle stuff back then. And by the time Manak reached it and landed here in the 80s, he was in the Coventry pub, like I said in my other stories, memorabilia and stuff, you know. And even that situation was like, I didn't know much about the folk music. I didn't even know who Manak was.
Wow.
You know, he was already a superhero. Like, you know, he was already Superman in front of me. But I didn't know that because I wasn't following that music.
What were you listening to at that time?
Bro, reggae, hip hop, they're the only two genres I could, like, top of my head, I could remember. Then rave music came in, then, like, we had a bit of funk and soul. Didn't know much about them elements of music. But then I started in a school steel band in the senior school. I
Really?
started in the
Wow.
school steel band and we had the opportunity to play along with phase one. And I was given the opportunity to play with Philip in phase one. And basically, I'd done like full Congo, timbale, percussion, full setup. And one of the lads that filled in for one of their drummers, Michael, he's still on my Facebook. And he was the drummer, and I used to play the bongos and congos and stuff like that. And yeah, it was quite enjoyable because, again, there was nothing rehearsed. It was just jam along. And then that jam along became something permanent. And then we'd use that element and carry on. So yeah, that was like amazing, like, you know, to have them kind of opportunities. You know, we played at the Symphony Hall. That was the first time I ever played there when I was a kid. And unfortunately, I don't have no pictures, so you're going to have to take my word on it because I remember it. And it was a steel band competition. And I was with Sydney Stringer School. I was in their band. And mate, the time we had was amazing. Unbelievable. Yeah, amazing times. And teachers in music, there weren't like graded music teachers. They were like freelance teachers, if you
Yeah.
get what I mean.
Like
The
pop.
half of them were had their own little local bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then I started learning a little bit about the drums. I had a few major lessons in my senior school on drums, and it just got bigger and bigger from there, man.
That's crazy. So go back to
No offense to none of the drummers that I'm seeing in the Bhangra bands nowadays. They're just playing happy drums. I call them like
Hmm.
it's not real drumming, if you ask me.
Hmm.
Half of these beats these guys are playing, you could play with one hand. You know what I mean? No, I'm being straight with you, bro.
Yeah.
And no offense, like I said, to no one, but that
No,
if
no.
people are happy with that, if people are happy paying a drummer £200 or whatever their fees are to just play a simple 16 or a 4/4 beat, then that's fair enough. But to me, it's not appealing. You know what I mean? If you're a
Hmm.
drummer and you're sitting behind a Pearl Export or a Masters kit that's made for you to drum with, and it's to do with professionalism, then you should play that professionally, and you should
Hmm.
take your teachings on stage with you to be a
Absolutely. Yeah.
professional.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of your teachings?
So,
You know,
if you go back to the Kuldip Manak story you were saying, so how did you meet Kuldip Manak?
bro, my dad was working in an Indian factory back before, and they was just jamming. It was a Saturday, Christmas Eve kind of thing. I can't even remember exactly what it was, and Manik was coming, and my dad was so excited. He goes, "Oh, Manik's coming!" Anyway, he went to the factory, but they didn't do a jam sing song there. So they were all ended up in this pub, a local little street in between houses. It's a pub. It was called the Bricklayers Arms, and they from the factory they shut the factory and they moved over to the pub. So they used to do like a few curries or whatever, and we have ended up in this pub. Like my dad's phoned me and he goes, "तू ready हो जा, शर्ट पैंट अपनी मां नु कह ready कर दे, मैं तेनू चक्कर लगाई सी वो लग गया." I'm like, "What for?" He goes, "अपने bongos चकला, अपनी ढोलकी चकला, whatever you can grab hold, get hold of it." I said, "Why?" He goes, "मैं तेनू बंदा मिलवाया." Innit? He didn't tell me who, what, and I've been jamming at home on these records. You know what I mean? So I was familiar with the voice, but not familiar with any names or anything because I didn't take note of it. My dad had put the vinyls on. We weren't allowed to touch the vinyls in case we'd smash them or crack them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So my dad had a strict rule like that, and because I think a couple of them were my mama's albums as well. You know what I mean? So anyway, don't forget there was a lot of sharing back in them days as well between households.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially music, right? So I'm at home. My mum's picked up the phone. Next minute, she's running around getting me ready. I'm only a kid, a bit lazy, playing with my cars and my stuff. And next minute, I'm doing this gig on a Saturday at 9 o'clock in a pub with some crazy singer. And I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, "Where's your instruments?" He pulls out the tumbi again. Little bit familiar with what he was at that time. A little bit, not a great deal, because I never touched the instrument. Never ever handed anyone else's instrument. And it was my dad mainly. He was a bit of he'd have anxiety over the fact that I don't break someone's instrument. He was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That where do I start? If you break it, what do I do? So anyway, Manik singing GT Road, all of that. Man's are going crazy, loads of money flying around, pound notes, the old, British pound notes flying everywhere. And I'm thinking, boy, this is great. All I'm seeing is money getting thrown at me. And I'm sitting on this snooker table, bro. They put plywood on these two tables, a snooker table thing, made them into a stage. So I'm sitting on the floor with some bongos, no mics. And Manik just singing it out, like raw singing it out, no mics on the percussion, no mics on the tumbi. And next minute, when he sang Duty Road and the money was getting thrown, that's when I realised who he was. And then my dad's like, my dad's having his beer with his mates, and he's like, all this to me, and I'm thinking, boy, you know, I'm 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 going to be famous after this, and then the struggles carry on after that sort of thing.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that I've got to say, your dad sounds absolutely amazing.
My dad was into music so
He sounds
wickedly.
phenomenal.
I'm telling you now, a lot of fathers in their days were discouraging children to get into
Yeah, yeah,
music. My dad
absolutely.
was pushing us all the time,
He sounds amazing,
especially
to be
my
fair.
mum as well. My mum was like, and any earnings we got, any money, anything we got, my dad never used to say, "Oh, give it me," or my mum. My mum would actually say, "Oh, stick it somewhere safe," paying out the wali, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So that kind of thing stuck with us, and eventually I didn't see music being my first subject in my life, if that makes sense, because
Hmm.
I was into the motor trade as well. I was a car fanatic, so I done all the mechanical side, all the bodywork side. As I got older, I set up a couple of my own businesses. One didn't work, one did work, as you do, and then as I got older, I wanted to lay off the painting and stuff,
Hmm.
because there was a lot of problems with paints and stuff like that.
With the fumes.
Breathing it, yeah,
Yeah.
materials was quite bad.
Yeah.
So then they changed it from cellulose paint. They put it to 2-pack paint, which is more quality and lasts longer
Yeah.
and a bit more sturdy on the vehicle. So all of that kind of stuff, I've done it. You know, um, right up to like I'd say late 90s, I was painting cars, and some I was doing from the back of my garage, where my mum and dad's place was. Some I was doing from my own place. Some I had a shared unit with a couple of guys. So my hustle continued, man. And then
Mm-hmm.
suddenly one day I had another wake up call. When you just have a dream and you want to follow that dream through.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't even say it was a dream; it was reality for me, because music's always been real. Um, a singer came, and my brother was in contact with him, and we were already gigging, and so was my brother. And he came in a factory by Son Pukriwala, the famous lyricist, and his name's Deepa. They
Mm-hmm.
called him Deepa in them days. He came and he wanted to start a band. So my brother joined a few times, and then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to join as well. I'm going to join my brother on this one. And Deepa came into Coventry, and we tried setting up a band, but musicians were scarce in them days. There
Mm.
weren't many musicians.
When was this time?
So
Was it 90s?
this is 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
And Deepa came. He came towards the end of 80s, going into the 90s, like 91. Deepa came. We tried setting up a band, and then Deepa moved from Coventry, found himself another job in the factory, and he started singing in Birmingham, and that became Deepa Satrang.
Really? Wow.
So, yeah, I still speak to Deepa now and again, keep in touch with him. I think he's doing cabbing now in Wolverhampton or something. He's
Oh,
got his head down, he's done his time. He ain't one of these guys to keep on crying over, don't love it, don't learn, try and do 50 videos over the one thing and, class himself as a legend. He's a pure, kind-hearted, humble guy where he knows where he stands, he knows his quality. He
yeah.
could deliver the quality the same as what he did back in them days, in the Satarang times.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my hat off and I salute the guy for sticking to them and not, getting to the age of like 60 and still trying to claim fame off his old tracks. He's not into none of that.
Mm.
He's a straight, humble guy. That's it. What you see with him is what you get. And if he's at a wedding and he gets dragged on stage, he'll humbly go on. He won't go on with an ego. He'd
Mm.
humbly go on and just do it. And again, he wasn't a trained singer. He couldn't play
Really?
no
Wow.
instruments. I don't know if he could play instruments now, but back then he couldn't even play an instrument. He just had the natural key in his voice. When someone's just got it, he
Mm.
was one of them. So, I had the pleasure of dealing with that situation back in Coventry. Then I joined, after Monmouth, I joined my first official band, which was Anjana group from
Punjana.
Leamington Spa.
Punjana. It's okay.
And boy, did we gig. We didn't stop gigging. Their gig started on a Thursday all the way to a Sunday night. That's how busy they were.
So who was in there, bro? In that group?
Oh, there was a guy called Sati Mon. I can't remember the other guy's name. There was a few of them, man. There were about 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we did plenty of gigs there as well. And they were fun gigs. They weren't your boring gigs,
Mm-hmm.
They were proper fun gigs. Like, they already knew the crowd or the Janeti.
Yeah.
You get me? When they used to get gigs, they were like very family-oriented gigs.
Gotcha.
I don't even think they charged in some of the gigs. Whatever they made on stage was theirs.
Yeah.
The tips. And I think tips were like, back in them days, 700-800. You know what I mean? A lot of money, that is. And that's what it was. And they used to have a big Mercedes van. I remember it was like a sky blue colour. And they used to pack that out with the gear, speakers. Remember, PA systems only started around about, I think the professional PA system started about mid-80s, when Gorey were coming into our genre of music and doing PAs and trying to get used to the sounds. And the only reason why I feel Gorey started doing it was because they weren't getting many Gorey gigs that needed a stack system or a PA system, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
For a band. And if they did, they were only doing local pub gigs with one speaker and a bass bin, and that was it. Whereas our weddings were now catering for like 600-700 people. To make them deaf, you needed a good rig, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what was going on. Then drums were introduced in for one, and they were looking for a drummer. So my brother goes, why don't you join us instead of pondering around with all these other bands? And we got a lot of gigs. I said, I'm not bothered about the gigs. Gigs are gigs. And then Prawandas and Geet had their first album. They were working on the second. The first one was called Mundiadi Toli, and that was done by one of the Coventry producers. And then we had the other one done by another guy. And then the third one, Hold to the Background, EP was done by Steve Adgett. He used to drum for DCS and play guitars. A very talented guy, I must say. He taught me a lot of percussion. In the van, when we used to travel, he'd pull out the talkie and I'll pull out another talkie and we'd be sitting there jamming. We used to get them guys going crazy in the van with just percussion sounds. And me and him used to just jam and sing and mess around. And then Steve's brother was in our band as well. And like he used to sing a lot of Shin stuff. And he sounded like Shin as well, a little bit like Shin. He had that matas, And he's like I said, if you got it, you got it. And then the band started realizing, this is a good setup. Let's bring this on stage. So then they started bringing it on stage. And in between that, I already knew Punjabi MC from our college days.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know. Hey? He wasn't even known as Punjabi MC. I'll tell you how I met Punjabi MC officially was through college. I was playing on a bathtub, the door on a bathtub, just banging it away. And these other guys were doing bully and dancing in a hall. And PMC walked in and he seen it all and he was like, And he just used to come in there, sit there, have a little jam, and then walk out. And that's how I got to know him, like, properly. And then he'll tell you himself, like, when it comes to music, I inspired him all the way with music. His inspirations already was hip-hop. He's listening to a lot of hip-hop. But when it came to the Bhangra thing, and then, like, having all of that collaborations, he's seen me with Kuldip Manak first time on stage. He's wearing this Rupert the Bear, big collared. I laugh at him, yeah. He's wearing this big checkered sheep coat kind of thing with big collars on it, and his head was stuck in. And that was the first time I seen him. The second time I seen him, he's wearing one of them Parker Easter little kids coat with all
Yeah.
the fur around it.
Gotcha.
And he's kneeling on one of the speakers like this and looking at Manak and thinking, wow, you know. And I don't even think he knew Manak that one day he'll be working with him. I don't think none of these things were ever in anyone's heads that they're going to be able to do that. Because these people were supposed to be untouchable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at a certain level and you're down there, you know, you look up and you look at people and think, I want to be there, but I want to work with this guy. So, you know, dreams do come true if you follow them through. You know, if you follow them through, dreams do come true, man. The dreams are most important. That if you've got the right dreams, then keep going and they will come true, man.
So would you say that, like, from what you're telling me, it looks like a lot of it you lay on the road. You let your door look on the road, just getting.
Yeah, I admit that openly. A lot of my percussion, a lot of things I've learned are practically while I was on the job. Yeah,
but you sound phenomenal, bro. Honestly,
and I've done a lot of rehearsals ever since. Like when I joined for one now, and they introduced the drum kit into the band, whereas all the other bands were already jumping on stage with drum kits. I don't even think we were that quick to get on it. You know what I mean? I think we were pretty slow compared to what the other bands were doing. It was only after they released their first album, Monday Adi Tolli, which didn't even have a snare drum in it. Forget the drums. It was just pure folky, tumbi, wajah keys, and balde mustannas, 100 keyboard sounds that were flying off everywhere. You know, a bit annoyance, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was like that. And guess who played the percussion on that?
What, yourself or
Shinda.
Shinda?
Yeah, he used to grab the train from Birmingham and the band would pick him up and take him to Cabin Studio on London Road, and they used to record there, yeah. And then he played on our second album, which was I think Preetham played on the second one, and that was called Teri Tameri.
Wow.
And that had drums in, and I played on one track live drums. And that's where I got the experience of recording. But initially, I was involved with sampling a lot of stuff with my friend, Jason. He was a rock guitar player, and he used to teach me how to use the Akoy samplers and stuff like that. So I learned quite a bit of old school sampling, which obviously is now changed to computers and so on. You know, there's a lot of different elements to sample now, and like that's where I picked up that kind of technique kind of thing.
I wanted to get into that. So, because I want to get into the transition from you as a percussionist to a producer. So that's probably the beginning of it.
Yeah. So that was like I said, he was a rock guitarist. He used to teach me quite a lot. They had a band called Headspace or something like that, and basically was signed to a major label, mainstream label. I don't know what happened, but he won the lottery, or his girlfriend did, and he was based in Leamington. They moved out, and they didn't win it once; they won it twice. He won it, and then she won it. Luckily, you know, so they won lotteries, and then I don't think he ever picked up the guitar again. I think he just jams around the house, but he taught me a lot, and so did Steve Adgett. Steve Adgett, I would say Steve Adgett is one of my many ustads.
Is he still around? Or
yeah, Steve's in Oxford, man. He used to play drums for DCS and guitars for DCS. Wow. And I learned a hell of a lot from that guy. And he's not a kind of guy to just keep things to himself. If you ask him, he'll show you, not just show you, he'll actually sit down with you. Wow. You know what I mean? And I've had the opportunity of having many, many years with him. And he's a great inspirational guy when it comes to music. You know, his inspirations are crazy. And he could produce, like, good music. When I used to listen to him play, and then I heard Pandit Dinesh, you wouldn't know the difference.
Gosh.
That's how good Steve is. Gosh. He used to play all the Pandit Dinesh styles and everything.
Mm.
And when he did our album, Parwana's album, um, he actually used them styles. Hold to the Bangra is the name of the album, and he actually used them styles. Pandit Dinesh styles on the Dolki tabla, and he made it sound phenomenal. But mixing and mastering, doing it by non-Asian influenced guys is very difficult.
Mm.
I think the only person you could ever highly rate that could mix and master Bhangra is probably Tom
Yeah, Tom.
from Planet Studios.
Yeah.
He's the only one that could get that hump. You know what I mean? For me, even that ain't enough. You know, I believe in, like, if you're Desi and you got folk music, then you should have the folk leading instruments like Vajja, Tumbi, Tolki, Tabla.
Mm.
And the Tol. They should be your main instruments. And the era I'm from, it was only Tolki and Tabla that was the main instrument.
Mm-hmm.
When I got into music, everything was based around that.
Mm.
If you look at how lucky we are as Asian producers and Asian Bhangra artists, say live Bhangra artists, once that Tolki groove goes in with the drums, it gives it a beautiful, it creates a beautiful sound, it creates a beautiful environment, like for the rest of the band to play to.
Mm.
And keeping that in mind is all about individual people bringing it on the table. And that's what's missing in that industry today. That the bands that were originally going, like Pradesis, Sahotas, all the other bands, DCS, they had the original musicians that brought something to the table. Or teri jeevita mein chicken di rakha, plate more, and you put it in your mouth, you're going to feel it different than your wife's cooking or your mum's cooking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's automatic because it's come from me. It's my way of cooking. Then it's not the wrong way, it's my way. You understand?
Well,
So when everybody brings something,
Huh?
when everybody brings their flavors into a band, it becomes amazing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. You know what's really interesting? About yourself is that how much credit you give other people. Not many people do that, bro. Like in
No,
your
but bro,
journey.
you know what it is? This is what people don't know about me. They think that, oh, he's against someone or he said something about something. I'm an anorak. You get me? When it comes to music, I'm an anorak. I'm like the train spotters. I spot the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And people don't like that. They just want to hear good for crap work. And I'm sorry, they're not going to get that from me.
Yeah.
What you're going to get is the truth. And I expect that back. I don't expect anything different. If you don't like my song, tell me what you don't like about it. Let's go into detail. That's the kind of person I am. Don't just tell me, oh, there's another thing that's annoyance to me, is when people say, oh, old school. It sounds a bit old school. What is new school? Did you know half of the songs out there all copied Tarja from Chamkilla, Amarjot, Kartar, Ramala, Sadiq? They're all copied melodies that are twisted with their own little version. Like I said, when people bring things to the table, right? Everyone's got a different element of music, catalog, or inspiration, or who they follow, who they listen to. When you got a band should work together, and each individual person. Now you haven't even got that.
No.
What you got is a set of group of people that hire the singers and mimic what was originally done by the band. Yeah. But it's not the original band.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think we've got such a scarcity of musicians here and bands now?
We haven't got a scarcity of there's not scares of musicians. There's plenty of musicians.
Okay.
It's just I think it's got to that stage where the time. You know what I'm saying? The time.
As in what sense?
In rehearsals, getting the guys together.
Yeah.
You need one leader, right? So what you got here now, you got the Legends band, then you got the live band. Yeah. And you got leaders like Tubbsy and Harry, is it? Mataru on keys. I think he leads the Legends.
Yeah.
Now, them kind of people, they're determined, they do their job, and they do it correctly. I'm not saying anything bad about them. And they lead. And what they do, the singers used to hire the musicians or the band. But now what you got the one leader of a band hiring the singers. The tables are turned.
Yeah.
And I think what it is as well, I think musicians have got fed up of being robbed by singers.
Gotcha. 100%. You know what? Tubbsy was saying that basically he was saying back in the day, singers charged as much as the musicians. That's it. Where now a singer would charge like 10 times the amount of a musician would get paid.
Yeah, but what it was as well, you had a leader, like I said, the leader, what they were doing,
Gotcha.
they were charging what they wanted, but telling the musicians, oh, you got £1,000 to my name, here's 50 quid for you, here's 100. Now, is tables are turned where the musicians are getting paid proper money, which it should be, because the musicians are what carry the singer. I'm not saying the singer shouldn't be paid, I'm saying, yes, but if you're going to work as a team and you want to create a band without politics, see, this is another thing. We got too much politics in the business.
Mm.
You know, it's like going to your uncle's shop and saying, your uncle's going to say, I ain't giving your money back. They're never going to give your money back.
No.
That's what's going on in the industry. It's a very flawed and screwed up industry, if you ask me. And I feel sorry for the new singers out there. And I will put it out like this as well. A lot of musicians and producers are charging a lot of money and their production's crap. I'll say it blatantly to the face as I see it, right? I've heard some real appalling vocals that are not being auto-tuned. I've heard some real poor quality production, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm the best. I've never said that. But I will give good quality out there. What I believe is good and fresh. I believe in what I do. I don't believe in what the other person's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's got a bad vocal and he believes that's the best, then he needs to look in the mirror again and maybe get a new mic or buy a proper auto-tuner that's practically going to work for him. I'll be straight with you, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong, no one's perfect.
No.
Is dunya te perfect nahi hai.
No.
Sade saariyan de vich thodiyan bahutiyan nakamiyan hundiyan kam vich. Yeah. But at least try to make it good. Bro, I've heard some real appalling stuff lately. I can't even name them people because they're embarrassing. And that's why the industry isn't moving. That's why people are going back to the 80s and the 90s. Bhangra, you know?
Because that's having a revival now, isn't it? Like all the older.
Bro, I'm not going to say the man's name yet. I approached a UK artist, 3 of them. One didn't answer his phone. The other one spoke to me and said, yeah, I'll be down, but I'm not well. This was like 5 years ago, and the guy still ain't well because he's never called me, right? So he's out the picture. The other guy didn't answer, but his phone rings all the time. He sees my calls that I've called him. I've even texted him, but I never get a reply back, right? This is cost-free we're talking, right? These are guys that are already out there. One particular guy sticks in my head. He goes, Paji, Jassal, appa kam karna dona ne. Tusi thoda jar wait kar lo, mera super hit gana ho laga. The song comes out. The biggest pile of shite I've heard in my life. Now, if people are going to judge my music and say, oh, he's a bit old school, I'd rather be old school than no school.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it, bro. It's really good.
Bro, no, what I'm saying is, if people are going to come back to me and say, Paji, tera kam thoda ja purana hai, I'd rather do purana, tutta futta kam, tutti chappal kind of style, that if I do pick up the chappal, at least I could slap it in the banda's face for what he's dropped. Bro, that's the kind of anger that gets to me, yeah, is that these guys are ego-filled guys. They never give to the public. The public wants to hear them, but they never give. They want to take. How much can you take off the public? I'll talk about all the Bhangra artists in the UK, every single one. All they've ever done is taken. Only people like JK and the latest guys, Juggy D, all of these mans, they're bringing it on the table. They're putting music out. even if it's not regular, it's an occurrence. They're sticking to the vibe and they're bringing out quality.
Mm.
They're bringing out quality, not quantity. And this is where you've got to get the balance right. Do you remember Pooja back in the day? She threw that many songs out, people didn't even want to hear it.
Mm.
Now she's realised only lately, since she's moved to Canada and started putting makeup on, she's realised that putting that putting makeup on and acting it and only releasing songs now and again will work, and they are working for her.
Yeah, they're doing really well.
Actually. I'm a fan of Pooja's. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know you're just messing about.
You know, but like, you know, don't keep on coming with your makeup and throwing tracks out just because you want to be famous. That's not how it works. You don't see Beyonce and Mariah Carey and all these other people, you know, putting out tracks every day. It's great if you've got a hit and you can live off that one hit. Like Gurdas Man is known for a few of his hits, but lately he's put out songs that have been crap. How can you relate to them? Youngsters listen to Chamkila. The new generation of youngsters still listen to Kuldip Manak. You know Chamkila and Kuldip Manak, yeah? They're not with us on this earth yet. And why are people still listening to them? Why are they the most talked about? Even a film's been done by Diljit, a Bollywood film of Chamkila. Why? That's the question I ask everyone. I'll tell you why. It's because the music is basic, is fun, is clean, is good quality vocals. The singers are using good quality producers. Ustad Charanjit Ujjari, yeah. Brilliant. I speak to him on a regular basis. He's going through a few motions at the moment, you know, with his health. He's very old now. And he called me up. He messaged me first, bless him, and then he called me. And he introduced his harmonium to me. He's done a beautiful harmonium.
I've seen it, I've seen it. Yeah.
It sounds like how it used to on his albums. I don't know whether you've had the opportunity to listen to it. And he goes, Kaka, telle mein kabajja rakh lama. Main kaha malle do rakhi.
Yeah, man.
I said to Ustad ji, I want two. He goes, why? I go, ek main Punjabi MC nu dena, ek main aap rakhna. He goes, theek hai. I go, par tusi mainu sane karke dena hai. I want mine's engraved, his signature dated. And I want a video and photographs. I want a whole record of this Vajja. I don't just want the Vajja.
That's amazing.
And you know what he's done now? He's tagged every Vajja with his name on it. And I gave him the idea when the plates were being made.
Yeah.
He was actually in the factory when he called me. And he goes, I've got an idea, and he's made a little plate. If you look carefully, he's got a small 1.5, 2-inch plate on the Vajja. And he's got his name on there and his photo on there, embedded on the plate.
Wow.
Engraved. And I gave him them ideas. I go, people on me are fanatics, you know. We're anoraks when it comes to you and other people. I said to him, Sergi, to see manu ekda Vajja, then otherwise I'm not interested. I go, the Vajja cost me 2 lakh. I go, I'm not interested. All I'm interested in is the history that comes with it. And if I'm not getting the history that comes with it, then the Vajja's worthless to me. I want the one you touch. I'm not coming to India to pick up the one from the factory. That ain't going to happen. I want the one that you touch, physically play. And he started laughing. He goes, "Tu nahi manu chhadna, tu nahi manda." He started, laughing with me. He goes, "Tu manu bahut tang karda, mere jehde nyane kanda inna tang nahi karde jinna tu karda." Because I was really anal, to the point. Yeah. And my Punjabi straight. I don't mess around with my Punjabi.
Yeah.
And even true schools like that as well, like when you,
good guy
I've sat with True School, worked with it on his album Represent.
Yeah.
I did the engineering of Folk Raw Folk. They've credited me, bless them. The guys were good, back in them days when they were working on them projects. Specialists is a Coventry lad, I got to know them all, and they've done some great work, and True School sort of is an inspiration.
Absolutely.
Even though I started a little bit before him as a Kate industry, meaning he was with the label and I was doing my own thing, and I was with Natural Records at the time, and basically my first album, Curfew, was released by Natural, and the industry was getting lazy. In 2007 and 8, it started getting lazy, bro. Musically as well, it started getting lazy.
Yeah.
And it's sad for
You can
me
see
to
that,
say that.
Like what I noticed, Raj, is that at that time there was a lot of sampling, but in a negative way, being used by the UK punk. So you'd have a loop, and that loop was found in every single song, like that door loop.
You're on about the Dirani loop, ain't you?
No, that's a Dolok loop. I'm on about in general the door loops and you know the percussion loops. It was just
well, let me tell you who's to blame for that. India is to blame for that because they released a lot of catalogs of samples.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not boasting, but it's not about the sample, it's how you use the sample. Absolutely. And how you enhance the sample. I've used samples. To this day, I've used samples. I'm not denying it.
No.
Do I look like a flute and a sitar player? Look at me.
No.
No. Do I look like a mandolin player? No. You understand what I mean? So, man, that's mine.
Yeah.
So instead of me going to a musician, which I've got hundreds of musicians on my phone in my catalogue, bro, I got classic players. I got Pakistani Zahib and all of them guys. You know, they got a studio. So I got all of them man's proper Hyundai Bande. You get me? Bande that wouldn't just send me a sample. They'll teach me about the sample.
Yeah.
They'll tell me the elements. They'll tell me the rag. You know, whether it's Billu, the body, you know, Pervi, they'll tell me what it is. And from there, I learn by ear. I learn by talking to people. And this is what we've got missing in our industry. All people want to do is get on the mic and sing like a bunch of clowns. And they think they're in a circus, that they're going to get away with it. Trust me, bro, you don't get away with it. When you got people like me listening in, then one day you're going to cross my path where I'm going to be peed off and I'm going to tell you straight. Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to ask you, bro, is that, you know...
It's like reaching out to God. It's a gift. Like I said, if you got it, you've got it. But if you ain't got it and you want to get it, put in the time and the effort and sit on the budget if you're a singer. Bro, I'm not even a singer, and I'll tell you now, I know all my scales. I'm not a singer. I don't want to be a singer. In the years that I've accumulated behind of music, in the years I've accumulated, and I've sat down, I've actually learned the surah. I don't even have to do the rehearsal because I'm not a singer. But I could get on my piano and I could hit the note straight away. First key, bang, and I could hit the note. And what bothers me is when people come to me and then I'll tell them straight, bro, you ain't really good, leave it. Go and spend your money buying some polish for your car and stuff. You know, get some chicken or lamb curry, get on the go. Do time botala sharab diyan leke pila, odo ga ye, sangapari ye. In a barbecue or something, but don't become a professional singer.
Yeah.
And people are that greedy in this business, they will work with any Tom, Dick and Harry that they think they could bring out and charge them £5,000-6,000 a song. Gosh. Bro, and I'll put it out on this pod. Any artist that can sing and they're looking for music, come and speak to me and I'll give you my price and you'll be speechless. What I put on the table. And I say that with chest, bro.
I believe that, bro. I 100% believe that. I just want to go back to what you mentioned about True School. I just want to say something about it. My wife's in contact with him. My wife manages my music and stuff, and she does some other projects. You know, one thing I've got to say about him, don't matter what people say about him, he's always got time for my wife. He'll take time out if he wants advice. He'll give her advice and stuff. No one knows that about True School. You know, such a nice... I know,
bro, I spoke to him when I was doing alcohol. Yeah. And I played him a couple of tracks and I said, what did you think, bro? He told me straight. He goes, "A bangers." You know, he goes, you've got the Desi Dark Child stamp on it, and that's important. Yeah. You know, he told me in detail what he heard. He told me about it in detail. And then I had the pleasure of meeting him not long ago, and I gave him, like the links to all my other stuff. And he goes, "Yeah, I've heard some good stuff coming out of your studio." And, and I go, "Well, I'm trying, even in front of him, I feel like it's a little bit of an embarrassment if you're calling yourself a singer or a producer and you've not even put in the effort. Because again, he's a Hyundai Bunda, you get me?
Yeah, 100%, bro. He's a
It's like going to a chef and saying, "Yeah, I'm talking about Michelin style chefs, yeah, and it's like you complaining. Yeah, you might complain about what your taste buds have felt or what you actually feel, but you can't say the food is crap." You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
And again, I think
But who does that, bro? But who does that? Look. There's bigger artists that like big in quotations, but who takes the time out these days to say, okay, my wife wanted something for music. She asked through school, and he gave her the advice. He told her where to go. Who does that these days? कौन करता है इतना?
यार पता की है मैं तुम दस right अद्धे दा फोन ही नहीं चकदे मैं तुम दस मैंने 5 साल हो गया मैंने 5 साल हो गए एक मैसेज वेट कर दे मैनू साला टोलटा भी लग गई पेशाब दी भी प्रॉब्लम हुई मैं खाना पीना भी बंद कर दिता मैनू डायबिटीज भी हो गई वो बंदे ने मैनू मुड़ के मैसेज नहीं किया 5 साल हो गया हुण मैं की कमा उस बंदे बारे चपेड़ा खाना तो काम आप कर दे लोकी you know one thing Manak said to me, he goes, never get hype on your own masala, right, but he said it in a different way, like they say, I don't want to say it now, but he goes, never get hyped. He ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਮਿਲੇ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਤਾੜੀ ਮਾਰੇ on stage. You're on stage, performed a track, and he's loving it, or he does a barn over you. He goes, that is 1 billion times valuable than someone giving you no credits at all. He goes, it might be worthless once you come off stage, but if that guy approaches you on stage while you're performing and he's doing all of this, blowing you kisses and clapping, which humbly, I've had loads of that done to me when I was a kid. We always support youngsters that we want to see them do good. But if you're putting out crap music, they're going to do crap, aren't they? It's an influence. And a lot of the UK Bhangra artists have put out so much bagwas that they've now turned to Sidhu Moosewala and all these other Dosanjhs listening to them because they found out that, hang on a minute, UK ain't giving us nothing. And that's really bad. That's how the tables are turned. That's really bad for people like myself because one, as me, as a guy putting out music and running a label, is a lot of work, especially albums, right? Day and night you're working on projects and it's a lot of work to release that project. But if you can't get the audience because of someone else's fault, who do you blame? You don't blame yourself. You're going to go and think about that person's movement on the chessboard. And these people have caused a tamasha in the industry. And I do not blame half of the people going to other sources to find music and listen to music. I don't blame them.
Well, you can't, can you?
Because we as a UK Bhangra industry, I don't class myself as a part of the Bhangra industry because there's all Thuggy in the industry. I'm not a part of the Thuggy. I don't do, lick and, brown nose and my ole favorite ole. No, mate, I'm not interested. If I phone Tubbsy, anyone, I'll say, Paji, teri feek in niyam and palai das de. If I can't afford you, I'll just slam the phone out and say, Paji, I can't afford you. If I'm too embarrassed to say it, I'll text you a little lol message, you know what I mean? A lol. Paji, the guy got the budget, I'll think about it. There's no way that I'm going to put myself in debt in an industry that ain't paying well.
Exactly, yeah.
I survive every day. It's a hustle, yeah? There's a lot of people that want to be my position, True School's position, PMC's position, many other artists that I could think of. They want to be in that position as producers, but they can't do the hustle because, one, they thought they knew the business and they don't. They're working at the airport as baggage handlers or singers that were there. I'm not saying no one's name. I'm just giving you an example of how life is. When they've realized how deep the hustle is, they walk. and you only hear a track here and there. There's no consistency. Buddy, I'm not lying to you, Raj. You know how many songs I've probably done? I've probably done about 400 Ghost productions.
Wow. It's crazy, man.
This year I've done about 27 already.
Gosh.
On top of what I'm releasing. Right now, I'm sitting on another album with Umar Singh Litra. I'm sitting on a folk album, which I'm sort of dwelling into off and on, deciding things. I'm working on several different singles, not just for myself, adding other people on top. I'm also working on a dub reggae album. And, you know, even with the reggae stuff, I released Reggae Feast. No one was doing reggae other than Sahotas. All of a sudden, everyone's a reggae artist. Everybody's now, I'm not saying they copy me. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's a forgotten genre. Since Sahotas faded out, it became a forgotten genre. It shouldn't be a forgotten genre. If you've started something, continue it. You know, I'm not doing it because I've just jumped onto it because Sahotas ain't doing it. No. What I'm saying is they were doing it. They had elements of reggae in their songs, right? And then after that, there was no reggae in the industry. It became a gap. Apache, he's a cool guy. I've worked with him. He's a proper brethren of mine. Same with Cheshire Cat. Lovely guys to work with. And they're very easily approachable. And why people think they can't approach them is beyond me to get advice or to get music, reggae advice. I'm approachable. If people message me on my messenger, I'm sitting here with you, I'm approachable.
100%, bro. 100%, bro.
मेरा की जाना जब मैं किसी दी मदद कर भी देती, gave that person an hour of my time, मेरा की जाना. Nothing. But at least have the say that you're trying to put people on the right track, nurture people on the right track. People like myself are lucky because we have been nurtured to a certain point. You get me?
I think you guys
have been nurtured to a certain point. Nobody was born professional.
No.
Nobody was born with, a doll around the neck. Nobody, bro, nobody. And what gets me is, that the communication and the cheekiness of people in this industry and the nerve of the people in this industry is a pure annoyance. ਇੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਸਿਫਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਾਜੀ ਤੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਪੋਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖੂਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਆਇਆ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਸੰਦ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਪੋਸਟ ਲਾ ਦਵਾਂ you know with me bro I'm telling you blatantly truthfully frankly I have stopped supporting UK artists when they release a song because they're not supporting me.
Yeah, fair enough, bro.
मैं promotion है मैं promoter है ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਪ ਗਾਣੇ ਕੱਢਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ I don't care whether people ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਗਿੱਟੇ ਤੇ ਵੱਜਣ I don't care bro I'm a straight talking guy I do not care if people don't share my music I don't care but they don't have the audacity to chat me on my back and say oh yaar mara ja purana aaya ਸਾਲੇ ਤੂੰ ਗਾਣਾ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਿੱਡਾ ਕਨਮਾ ਸੀ ਅਲੈਡਿਨ ਦੀ ਪੈਂਟ ਪਾਈ ਆ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਲੱਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਬੰਬ ਗੀਤ ਕੱਢਣਾ
And the worst thing is bro is that some people will message you share my song please and they'll WhatsApp message you like like not even personally they'll blank message everyone you know how you broadcast a message
yeah bro no मैं को भी यही काम है मैं भी करदा मैं मंदा मैं भी करदा सारे करते ਆ जब बाकी ਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੀ ਰਿਸੋਰਸ ਤੇਰੀ ਰਿਸੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੀ ਘੜੀਸੇ ਕਰ ਲਈਦਾ ਕੰਮ so ਇਹ ਹੱਥ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਹੁੰਦਾ I'll be straight with you bro everyone's doing it there's not a problem there's plenty of room in the industry people need to understand one thing is not a challenge to be in the industry make your own challenges for yourself and better yourself for God's sake how long does it take to sit on the Vajja for half an hour in the morning and learn your morning rag you got people like Nusrat that are on YouTube and the legends are on YouTube telling you about music through music. They're telling you through music what music is.
What do you think it is that's missing in people to do that? Because like as you're saying, so everyone can take half an hour here or there, like you've learned on the road, you've learned by yourself. Why do people not have the confidence or not have the ability to do that?
Bro, they've been knocked around. They haven't got the money. They thought they had the money. When their first song hasn't done well, they've given up the towel in. And then they start going to this cheap, tacky stuff in India for 400 rupees or 5,000 rupees, which is about 55 quid per song, and they sound whack. Bro, I did this because की गल मैं शो ले लाया हूं मैं पंजाबी एमसी दे नाल बह के उतो गाला खादियां मैं पाजी मैनू आ चीज दस उतो किद्दां ट्वीट करना कल्ली कल्ली दाने दाने दी ऐसी चीज पुछी दी एक दूसरे ने to better our skills.
Yeah. I know that, bro. I follow you on
no,
social
media. Why is it an embarrassment for people to admit that? Why is it all this big ego? I am. Bro, did you know I could tell you all the fake artists? There's a website that anyone could go on. You have to register on it. And it tells you your views, your topic views. Did you know we all as artists have got a word called topic? So if you went into YouTube and put Desi Dark Child topic, all my original songs that are out in published, that are out on CD Baby, everywhere, Ditto, wherever they're from, distributed on iTunes, the YouTube, just so everyone knows, YouTube and iTunes are together. Okay, whatever iTunes or YouTube shows you, they're your original views. You know, when people, I've said Badania to a couple of months here and there, right? Oh, Paji, मेरा तो गाना बहुत हिट है मैंने तो व्यू बहुत 40-50 लाख व्यू हो गए and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, let's go and have a look at research. And guess what? You go into their topic, they've only got like 600 views on the original track.
Yeah.
That actually monetized.
Yeah. And the rest are paid for adverts.
The rest is on a fake video, buying auto pendu India to betea, kache baage, oh, muchanu vat de yande ya paji mane 10,000 de de, main tenu 25 kai views de dena.
Yeah.
Bro, did you know? I bet you didn't even know. Kuldip Manak, GT Road, by myself, 1.3 million crossed.
Crazy.
On topic, Desi Dark Child topic. My alcohol album, it went in the top 20 mainstream charts for 3.5 weeks, and not even the BBC played my songs.
Oh, don't talk about the BBC, bro.
नहीं मैं शरेआम कहंदा ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਆਪ ਖੁਦ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਬਣੇ ਹੋ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਆਪ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਆ Now when you got that kind of thing you're asking me what is the problem, these are your problems. People are faking it, they thought they made it, they thought they're raking it, and guess what, they're actually going on a BMX on the chopper bike they've got that they've still got from back in the 80s to get to work on.
Gosh.
Buddy, Madam Dasar, you know this industry is so fake, right? It's so fake, it's unbelievable. Loki ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ਼ਾਰੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਿੱਧਰ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਚਾਲ ਕੀ ਆ. That's how much experience we got. And you know the sad thing about it is the youngsters are no longer interested in anything the UK market is throwing out.
No.
Who do we blame for that?
I don't know. I've been asking the question. So, as you were saying,
no, who do we blame?
Yeah.
We should be blaming ourselves as individuals. That why have we not bettered our skills? Why are we not merging as teamwork? Show me anywhere in England, from A to Z in all of England, where there's teamwork.
No.
Sara kutte da vedi hai sare.
I mean, what I find is like there's a lot of not only singers, musicians themselves, they don't actually put the work in. You know, you ask them about something.
You know, when it comes to work, work doesn't mean you sit in a studio all day. Or work comes from at night time when you're lying in your bed and you want to listen to some music, listen to the quality. Listen to people like Nusrat Ghulam Ali Saab. Listen to all of these Alam Lahars. Listen to what they're doing with their voices. You will learn a lot. Did you know there's not been one singer that could sing in D sharp on the scale Kuldip Manak sang it.
Crazy.
And I'm asking the question, D sharp, yeah, to other people is probably somewhere in the mid-range keys. Now let's go and talk about Manak and Alam Lahar. Go and listen to Jaime Balet, what key he goes on.
I went to see his son a few times, Arif Lahar, and he sings. We
Agaya. We Agaya, Padi, we Agaya.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about Ucha Gao, Kelike Gao. It's not about that. You could be singing on low keys and bringing the nice tone in, yeah?
Absolutely.
Setting a trend like Gary Sandhu. He doesn't sing high. He sings with Matars. Yeah? I've sat with Gary Sandhu and I've sat with Amir Vik and all of these guys. I've had a one-to-one with them. And we were in Punjabi MC's house and I turned around and started tuning my talkie. I said, Paji, kedi sort of thing karni hai? And they both looked at me like, what's this guy talking about? And that's no disrespect to them because they've made it. No. But what I'm saying is they've made it in a different element of they had the contacts, they've got out there, they've done it, right? That's fine. If you want to stick to one key singing, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. At least they sound good quality singers. That's my point. You don't have to be a graded singer to become a singer. You don't have to be a top musician to become a good musician. At least come on the good levels. And we've got that missing throughout the industry where the youngsters are now seeing the difference of sampled music with Karan Aujla. And then you got the UK.
I mean, you can make a whole track just using Splice.
There you go.
Without even putting no effort in. You put the key in, say, I want this type of beat.
But that, to me, that's not production. That's someone else's stuff.
It isn't.
And that's what people are listening to.
Exactly.
They think, oh, you know that song, Chunni Wadi Rang De Lalaria?
Hanji.
Half of them beats on Splice. I'll say it blatantly.
Exactly.
The bass lines, the riffs all from Splice. I know that for a fact. I've probably got them on my system.
Have you seen Splice now, what it does? Buddy? So what it does now, you can put the key, track, and it does the actual layers for you. So all you have to do is say you've got like the bass track, the rhythm, the percussion, and it's got them all for you. I know if you do export, bang, straight into your door, track's done.
But to me, you know, that's like.
But people are doing that.
That's why you Mete Prote without the Mete in there. And they're calling them Mete Prote, Alugobi Prote. You know what I mean? And it's quite embarrassing, but you know, if you're going to use samples, create them, use them, but create them for yourself so they become yours and they got a unique feel to them that you've actually worked with.
Absolutely.
You know, the biggest Jeevan, from Bristol, Tolki Tabla player, you ask him, I have one Tolki, he has the other. When we're sitting here, if he's not happy with something, then I play and show him. Then I'll record him. It's very difficult, and True School's a witness to this. It's very difficult to record your own percussion when you're also running a DAW and a system of a studio, because you can't run off two things. I've sat on my system and I've run the computer for like an hour and I've sat there playing loops, you know, sat there recording loops. And I'm thinking to myself, because then eventually you start running out of ideas on the spot. It's like putting yourself on the spot. But don't forget, you're playing to a click, you're trying to do your fills on a click. It's very, very difficult and you need techniques.
Do you find, because I found, Paji, is that, you know, say I record at home now, but the issue I have, say I recorded in vocal now, and I've checked it, everything seems fine. And I listened to it a few days later, it's absolutely rubbish. Got myself,
you know, because you know why that is? I'll tell you, there's two reasons. When you're using headphones, you're hearing a totally different aspect of what you're putting on the mic.
Yeah.
Right? If you're in a compact environment, it gives you a totally different EQ, totally different hearing. Your method is doing a circulation. It's like a cycle, So what you're recording here and saying there is it's now split. You understand?
Gotcha.
So what you're putting on the mic is split to what you're hearing in the headphones. But now, slip one headphone off. Yeah.
Then do it. Yeah.
You know, took it off one ear. And
So someone told me that before as well, and I've stopped.
Yeah, and then the difference, you'll see the difference.
Yeah.
You'll actually hear the difference that now you're working with the song, not off the song.
Yeah.
And I've recorded with Manak, Surinder, Shinda, Lal Chand, Jasdev Jamala. I've recorded with Ranjit Rana, Sabra Koti, and they all slipped the mic off on one side.
Bro, do you mind if I ask you about Sabra Koti? He's one of my favorite singers. What was the experience like him? What was the experience with him in the studio? This is just for myself because I'm a big Sabra Koti fan.
Okay, you know with Sabra Koti, I'll tell you straight, he's a Hyundai album on another level altogether, right? He don't like talking too much. He's more of a man of action, okay? And I'll tell you how I came across him. My wife's mama's son, I think, Raj's name is, he found out that Sabra Koti was having trouble in Wolverhampton and Birmingham finding the right producer. People like Zeus, everyone was involved, I think. And a lot of these guys were contacting him or he was contacting them. And what his intentions were, he wanted to do a solo album in the UK, produced in the UK. And my wife's, or my ex-partner, should I say, her my son contacted me. And he goes, Sabra Koti's looking for a producer and you might even know him. Now, I've known Sabra Koti for the last 20, 30 years, I'd say. Even before he started singing, my brother met him in India, before he even had an album out.
Wow.
No albums were out when he was standing on stage in our band in India. My brother was standing with him. My brother's got pictures, skinny, young little kid he looks like, Anyway, so I got hold of Sabra Koti's number through, my relay. And when I called him, Sabra Koti goes, "Main na sunaya tera." That was his first words when I tried to explain who I am. And he goes, "Main Coventry gera marwa tere ko." I didn't believe it. I thought he's another one of them, fob offs that he's saying he's going to link, but he ain't going to link me.
Like
I wasn't convinced. That he's going to link me. So you know what happened? I just put it under the carpet. Another one of them ones. And about 2-3 days later, I get a phone call at lunchtime. And I'm halfway through recording Tolki Tabla. And the phone call was simply, "Paji, main ture aaya. Mainu tusi apne postcode page do. I'll be with you in the next probably 20-30 minutes." He was on the M6. He didn't phone me before he came. He phoned me on the way down, if that makes sense. So I'm in this session. I shut the session down. I said, "Look, I've got Sabra Koti coming, blah, blah, blah." It was someone else's session I was doing, and this is at my old studio. And so we knocked down the head, and then next minute, about 3 o'clock, the doorbell rings, and it's Sabra Koti standing there with his big long hair and, his presence. You could tell the man's presence. As soon as he walked in, he pointed at him. He goes, "Tu hatya nahi mere magar phone kar le to." I thought, I only called you once. You know what I mean? Anyway, we started laughing, introduced him. We had some leche aur cha, some pakode khade. We sat down, seva suva kiti changi tarah. And then he goes, "Chal fir mainu dikha apna kam kitte hona kehda." Apna, I got a bit like, this is sick. I got the legend. I got the legend say apna to me. I got a bit excited. I got to admit, jada lalli bande nu chad jindi khushi na na. And I'm like, "Tusi chhodya, tusi podiya chad jute." And I thought, maybe he's an old guy, he ain't going to get up in my loft ladders. Yeah, because I'd loft lad is not a pakki puri. So he goes, no. He goes, chal manu dikhal. Anyway, we've gone up, and there's about 3-4 of them, and this is the stage I didn't know who the other guys were. Well, it was basically Sonnu was a tabla player that played with him. We had Kaka, yeah, who was the Vajja player, and we had his 2 sons, guitarist Alex and the other one, I've forgotten his name now. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, they're all piled up in the room, plus 2 promoters. The whole studio got rammed and already had a lot of gear in there. And he goes, Tera vocal room kitte hai? Main kaha, aaya. And it looked like a little bathroom in the loft, yeah. And he goes, vocal itthe badhiya ho jayega, yeah. So he goes, chal manu dikhal ki karta recording, you know. So I played him a few stuff, yeah. And when I played it him, he fell off like, yo, get the vajja, yo, get this, get that, let's go. Next minute, he phones up someone in Birmingham and he goes, ਸਾਡੀ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਚਾਬੀ ਲੈਂਡਲੋਡ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੁਇੰਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ.
Wow.
And I'm now freaking out thinking he ain't even asked me. He's going to be staying here. That's what I'm thinking because I ain't got the room. Yeah. And then he goes, Jassal, मैं तेरे कोल ही रहना. When he said मैं, he never said ਅਸੀਂ. I thought, okay, I got to read into this now. Yeah. He's on about himself. So I said, no problem. But what he meant was they had relatives that lived around the corner from where I lived.
Gotcha.
And they had a big house, right? Yeah. Don't forget, I've got 2 kids, wife, and,
it's hard. Yeah, you can't just bring someone down.
Yeah, and I can't just have random staying there, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I wouldn't do it to someone else. I'll be straight with you. I just thought, oh, no, it's going to be one of them. So anyway, he stayed with me as well, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but once you got to know each other.
He stayed, मैंने भी रहा, मैंने आपा इकट्ठे गल्ला करते रहे रात ਨੂੰ studio ਚ ਚਾਦਰਾਂ ਪਿਛਾ ਕੇ, got the air mattresses out. We were on it, you know what I mean? I thought, well, let's do it, you know. And because for me, it was the experience as well. Don't forget that. The biggest thing for me was I'm inspired by this guy for many years, and now I'm sitting with him, and he was like, I was pinching myself on the first day. That is this guy for real? He's sitting in my lab right now. Yeah. Anyway, I met him before that back in the mid-90s. I met him all. And then as we started talking and I mentioned a couple of people's names in the studio, he was hugging and kissing me, bro. It's no word of a lie. He gave me so much love on the first day. There was no way I could have refused that I'm not going to work or I'm not going to do this or nothing. He goes, tu album kad li, kalle karni. He goes, I'll give you full permission. Kada tu mera pota gaya. He goes, you're like my son. He goes, you could do whatever you want. Bro, we went Scotland, we were everywhere. Me and Sabra Koti in my car, and then the lads in the other car and the van. Wherever he had a gig, bro, we were all over the place. The laughs and the jokes and the videos they've taken back to India, I'll be begging them for the videos. They're just going to crack it. If I put them up in this industry, they're going to show the real Sabra Koti. What a nice, humble guy, no ego. What a family-oriented guy he was. I can't say no louder than that. The man was on another level. The jokes, it was giggles after giggles. You know, we had a little session here and there, a little glossy here and there. We had, you know, takeaways. We had everything going off, yeah. It was the craziest 3 months of my life.
Wow.
Then he stayed for an extra 2 weeks. He sent a couple of the other lads. He stayed for an extra 2 weeks. And that was the 2 weeks he stayed with me in my place.
Wow.
Then I drove him around. We went out and about. And we had a crazy time. You know, like the recording sessions, right, was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the way he recorded, there were one-take recordings.
Gosh.
Like he'll do one verse and say, let me hear it. He'll hear it and he goes, delete that one. I'm dropping it again. All in one go.
Man.
Even if he was a little bit on the harkat, yeah, in the mukre, if he was a little bit out on the key, he'd be like, nah, chop it. Get rid of it. I ain't doing no droppings. I'm taking the whole lot. One song took us, even though there were one takes, they took the one song was sitting with him. He'd warm up, do his rehearsal, then sing. Then he'll sit down, have a cup of tea, hot drink. Even it was summertime, and he was drinking hot tea, while he had done the proper hot tea. And then he'd come again and he'd be like, okay, let's get the next one done. We were laying about 3 tracks a day over a 2.5 month period. The 2 weeks he stayed, no music was done. We just had jokes, barbecues, gone out, met people, took him to his relos, took him to a couple of mayfalls, openings, that kind of thing. And
where do you rank him? Sorry, after you. Go on.
You know what? Yeah. The day I found out what's gone on with him, and the day I found out he's passed away, I probably cried more than his family. That's how hurt I was. Because we were planning on doing a video together as well. If you look at one of the albums I released, it's a song called Hover. Is that the song is. And he sang that. And he sent me a video of him doing a shout out. And if you look at him, look it up on YouTube. If you look at him, he's all skeleton and,
he lost a lot of weight.
Not good. Lost a lot of weight. And to be honest, people are chatting rubbish about him. He had this, he had that. He was just poorly, bro. He had a bit of kidney infections. He was just really poorly after he left England. Even with Devraj, in 2010, we were in India together. We were there at a wedding. He found out that I'm coming. Next minute, we were jamming in my mum and dad's, my nanny, my baba's and my daddy's house that we've got. We were jamming in there. Devraj walked in and he goes, "Oh, let me in India." That was it, bro. The party started. Soon as he knew I was there, he knew I'm a wild cat anyway. That was it. Me and him on the scooter. We met his brothers that were singers as well. They were one owns an electrical shop, and his son, I think his grandson's just released a song on Jassal Records, they're called. And obviously, and well, I think he's my grandson as well.
Yeah. Just send it me afterwards, bro. I'd like to listen to it. Yeah.
Bro, it's shocking, like the way things have gone, it is shocking. And the sad thing that you know what, I shouldn't say this, because I look back and I think, have I jinxed these singers or something? Every singer I've sang with the top legend guys, they've all passed away.
Gosh.
And I'm the last one to work with them. Surinder Shinda, I've done his vocals for PMC. I've done a vocal with him, passed away.
What?
Kuldip Manak, I've done the last song with him. There was another song I had. That's gone to Frenzy, I think. Frenzy's going to release that. It was about Yari, Yarandi Yari. That one, after I recorded that, I've done about 20 vocals with Kuldip Manak. 20 to 30 vocals. I'm not sure. I've got that many vocals of him. And basically, after Kuldip Manak, he passed away. In 2012, I was going to give up music altogether. That's why I released GT Road as one of my last songs. And then Kuldip Manak died in November of that year. Then I thought, if this song doesn't blow up or it doesn't go anywhere, I'm going to knock it on the head, because you can't just go any further once you've hit the big singers and nothing works, then you can't go further. And luckily it worked.
They're like the best of the best, aren't they? They're like the best of the best. All the singers you mentioned
the best of the best ain't working.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting the hint looking.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting the look, and then there's something seriously wrong with our industry.
Yeah.
And then now I'm going to sing Litera. He passed away outside the hospital, like I said. He had a heart attack, and he's another singer I've worked with, and I was the last one to work with him. 27 vocals I've done of his on top of the albums. I had him in the studio every single day in Chandigarh, and it got to a stage where he didn't have that energy left. And I do feel guilty sometimes, because I think, yaar, jehda bhi bande na main kaam karta hu, wahi banda tur penda. Manpreet Akhtar, she's on my reggae album.
Really?
Vanga,
oh man.
The Shad Akhtar's sister.
Yeah, no. She sang that famous Bollywood song as well. Kuch Kuch
I've
Hota Hai.
got about 4 songs off her, and after the
Wow.
4 songs, she passed away.
Wow.
That's the kind of look of her. Kaka Penia Wala, he done True School stuff, and then basically he done B2 stuff, and then I recorded 3 vocals, and then next minute I found out in India he's fallen ill and he's passed away.
Gosh.
I've had this run with people, and I think that's why some of these, I think the UK artists, they don't want to work with me because I kill them off. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਪੰਗਾ ਪਿਆ ਯਾਰ.
Yeah.
You know,
Gosh.
everybody, I can't even say touch wood. I'd have to touch my mixer. ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਯਾਰ. ਲੋਕੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਾਜੀ.
Gosh.
You know what, Sabri Koti, yeah? Even when the day he was ill, he phoned me up and he goes, Kaka, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੇਰੀ ਯਾਦ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ. I said, ਭਾਜੀ ਤੂੰ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਾ ਕਰ, ਮੈਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਮੁੜਿਆ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਆਊਗਾ. He's cracking these kind of jokes to me.
Gosh.
Not realizing he's going to pass away.
That is so sad, bro. It's like brought a tear
And he
to my eye.
used it, you know, on stage. There's a video of him on YouTube and he's using my words. They're all my words. ਅਗਰ ਲੋਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਖਾ ਲਾ ਪਿਆ ਹੈਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਦੁੱਧ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਤਾ. He used that wording on stage and he's giggling.
Wow.
He's having a conversation with the audience. He goes, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, that was me that said it to him.
Wow.
ਅਗਰ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਜੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਲੋਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਖਾਂਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਆ. ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਭਰਾਵਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਦੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਤਾ ਤੂੰ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਖਾਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ. And he used that whole scenario, the same wording I used, he used it on stage. You know, I've got a video, yeah, I am going to post that soon, but I've got to dig it out. I've actually got a video of Sabri Koti, Surinder Shinda, Muhammad Sadiq, all of the guys, yeah, in one room. And then on the Coventry gig, yeah, I got late. I dropped Surinder Shinda and Tarsem off, who's used to manage Shinda in the UK. I used to look after him as well. They were like family, like. And I've been blessed by all these people around me. And because I've known them since I was in a band and they've known me and we've got them kind of family-oriented links, yeah? So basically, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Surinder Shinda, yeah, I walked into the hall and he seen me walking in. He stopped the whole show.
Gosh.
And it's all on camera, all on video. And he goes, ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਆਉਣਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਗਾਉਂਦਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਬਚਪਨ ਤੋਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ youngest ਸ਼ਾਗਿਰਦ ਹੁਣ ਆਇਆ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ dragged me on stage, bro, and he said my name. Imagine that being said about you in front of an audience packed out that's paid tickets and people are talking about it. And I don't even see that as an ego. It's a factual thing. I've got all of these records. Even with Kaka Penia, when a true school vouch for this, we're sitting in my yard and Kaka's turned up. We've done his vocal. We just recorded his vocal on True School's album, Represent. And we didn't think Kaka come True School. Me and True School's gone down the local chippy and got some chips and doner kebabs and drinks, yeah. Come back to my yard and we're waiting for Kaka. Kaka doesn't turn up until about 4 o'clock. It's around about August time, August, a hot summer's day. And he turns up with his cap on and he goes, yaar main sorry main late ho gaya par pata ki siga main late hona hi si. He goes, main jaan ke nahi hoya main hona hi si kenda late. And we said it's the car pee ke baithe hai. True School guys. Next minute I've got my camcorder out. The V8 tapes in there. I've got my camera out and I'm just randomly messing around with Kaka ji. ਆਪਾਂ ਹਣਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਤਮਾਸ਼ਾ ਕਰਨਾ just for us. We've got True School sitting there, got Kaka sitting there, I'm sitting there, and another guy sitting next to me, and the camera's going like this, like an interview. Yeah. And I'm interviewing Kaka. The jokes the man said, right? True School even remembers, and you know what True School goes? He goes, get that video transferred and sent over to me. We got undercover stuff that if we put it out in public, yeah, well, I'm not even joking, bro. The world, I think, will go crazy because it shows reality of what artists are really like and how humble they are.
Yeah, you got to
No
digitize it, bro.
ego.
Hey, bro, you got to digitize it. So get the video, right? I'm gonna get
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the equipment soon. So get the video, and we get the video, and we turn it into like
That's right. Yeah, that's
digital
what I'm
format.
going to do. And
Yeah,
I've really stored them tapes really carefully. I've got them really stored like in a dry place,
yeah,
no magnetic field next to it, like
yeah,
speakers or anything. And I've kept them, right? And I'll tell you what, if people seen that stuff, they'll realize he wasn't just a singer, he was a father, he was someone's husband,
mm,
he was someone's son. And ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਤਮਾਸ਼ਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, they got so much detail in there about his image, about his personality as a person. I met him that same week. I met him at Radio XL. I've posted that video of me standing with him, and it was a winter's day. I met him at no, actually, he went back to India, then came back, and it was a winter's time. It was around about I think ਰੱਖੜੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੀਗਾ ਰੱਖੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ. It was out a few weeks after Rakhiya, starting into winter, and he was feeling cold. And he's standing there with a scarf and a big coat on. And he बहुत skinny है लगे. मैं उनको कहा काका जी, मैं कहा पाजी तुसी ठीक है? कहता मैं set है कहता. That's how much fight he had in him. To the last day, he was singing. Even when he was ill and told not to sing, he was in the UK recording, singing. I think he was ill on B2's recording as well.
wow.
Where he's wearing the white tracksuit.
And it's
Bro,
still
you know, like
crazy.
like when I met Kuldip Manak, yeah, I met him after many years. About 10 years later, I met him. He was a totally different person. And that when I went to shake hands and touch his feet like you do, you know, put a naam kari da, ustad da,
Absolutely, yeah.
and he touched me and he looked at me, you know, touched me on my head and he looked at me and he goes, Ole, tu ta apna hi banda hai, bhai mere kol. And I got a picture of him randomly, put my arm around him, and some guys taking a picture randomly. Although phone thought hunde sige.
Yeah.
And these are the exciting times of being with these people. And I share it all the time with people because I think it's very important that, you know, when I see all these Master Saleems and all these other Marshallis singing on stage and they're walking around with 15, 20 bodyguards, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, no one's going to give a shit about you. No one's attacking you. You're just trying to make this personality thing out that you need security. You're not Beyonce. You know what I mean? What are you doing? I'm looking at this. Then they're throwing all these peso in these temples of doom or whatever. Okay, you got that much money. Why are you not feeding the Garib bande? It's all a show, bro. And it's all a wrong show. It's misleading the public. It's misleading the youngsters. It's telling a different story in India to their industry. So they've got their political crap going on. And here, we haven't even got a data where you can throw money. Here, you got to pick the money up. And the problem is, none of the singers in the UK have ever, the only singer I could think of that's always given back to the public to this day is Malakit Singh. He's the only one I could think of that's always given back to the public. As in, he's put his hand in his pocket, gone to India, done a decent video, released a decent song, put it out there.
What an artist, though, Malakit. Great artist.
You know that Kali, I've heard that bully on someone's YouTube channel before he put it out there. These women in India, they make, you know, the Purane Buzurg, you know, the ladies, and they make out all these Gidda Bulia.
Yes.
And they make them so sick, right?
Yeah.
And he must have heard that hook line and gone along with it.
There's so much, isn't there, like that? Every time
YouTube has got information that people need to look at, and they don't.
Yeah. Do you listen to Sangtar's podcast?
Who?
Sangtar, you know, Manmohan Waris's brother.
No.
You know,
I don't follow none of the Waris brothers.
So if you,
I'm not a fan of their stuff.
But if you listen to his podcast, it's called the Punjabi podcast.
Okay. Right?
And on there, he's got this guy who comes on there, and he talks about the origins of each song. So you know the origins of certain songs because we don't know where they come from. Like they've been coming for hundreds of years, or we don't know where this bullies come from. He researches that. I'll send you afterwards. It's really interesting.
Send me the link. It'll be interesting to see. But I don't. You know what it is with them guys? Yeah, they keep on coming here with like, Punjab Virsa 110. I think they're on now.
Yeah,
and I'm bored with it.
Mm.
I'm sorry, but it's become boring. He reminds me of what's the other one's name? The one that dances.
What the
you
one
got more Waris?
Kamal Heath.
Bro, he reminds me of Robin.
Who?
Rotten Robin.
Robin.
Do you remember the kids program you used to have with the guy's hair all sticking up at the front with the long face?
Didn't even know.
Bro, I sent it to Tommy and we couldn't stop laughing. He was like, bro, you crack me up. I go, bro, he reminds me of that guy. When he dances and pulls that face, that's how he looks. Bro, they're good or whatever, but they don't work here. I don't know how to put this to you because they're a bit complicated. They're not artists that I would go and pay a ticket for. They just seem like three brothers that just thought one day, let's become artists. Well, Mon Waris was okay, back in the days, on his own. He was, and then they made this Virsa thing. It's got so boring. I think they're on about Virsa 165 or some shit like that now. And it's so boring, bro. Because how many times can you go and see the same thing? Even with Gurdas Man, I don't think he's all that now. His time's over, bro. He hasn't put out anything for the youngsters. Youngsters are not following his new stuff. Everything is put out has been a little bit politically engaged. And, I don't know, bro. I seen him live. He could have sing half of his songs that he used to sing properly. And I thought to myself, what's the point? You got a legacy, live off your legacy, but don't wreck the legacy. And that's what a lot of these people are doing. They're wrecking it. They're wrecking it, even with the UK artists coming out with these stupid songs. They're wrecking it. They've got a good, clean record. Leave it like that, man. Why do you need to do any more? If you are going to do something decent that sounds expensive, looks expensive. They run off to India, bro, for about 1,000 rupees, right? They get a music done for another 1,000 rupees. We're on about just under 1 lakh at the end of the day after food and drink share. And they come back with the video and a song and they think they made it. And it sounds old school. That's the word. And then they got the nerve to criticize people like myself. Yaar, show me your new school, yaar. Everybody using the old chamkila tarja, changing, converting them here and there, using different words. Let me tell you, even with Sidhu Moosewala, bless his soul, even his stuff, some of the lyrics he used was very old school, like Tibbe Pot and stuff like that. They've already been used. Them wordings are just forgotten. They've already been used, bro. All that wording has already been used. And, he's put it in a new fashionable way for the youngsters, and people are latching onto that and understanding it, which is a great thing. And this is what I'm saying, that he put his work into it. The ethics of work was already there. He was doing a great job. Sidhu Moosewala, like I said, bless his soul, he started a new trend. And that's what was missing. And that trend came into the UK and went to Canada, everywhere. And unfortunately, he's he's not with us no longer. And bless him, he come up with some real, solid production, solid songs, solid melodies. Wording was accurate. One small word explained 50 gullah. Can you see what I mean? And it's
he changed the game, didn't he? He changed the environment.
Yeah, and that's what's missing. Even with Karan Aujla, with the song Chunni Meri Rang De, Lalaria, half of the people don't even know who a Lalaria is. Do you know what a Lalaria is?
It's a person that colours the clothing.
The kapra,
Yeah.
But Lalaria is a very old Punjabi folk world. Because back in them days, the kapra they used to make, it was print colour. So it was dip colouring. and the lyrics are talking about that particular subject, which is great with the modernized twist to it. And that's the kind of stuff that people want, and that's what they listen to, which is fine. But at the end of the day, the UK people we have a versatile industry where we could drop tracks, and when we drop tracks, it's all about you as an artist or producer, how you put that stuff out there. But the problem we got, and the problem that remains and it sustains, is we don't get the support. Did you know 90% of the dealers that put songs out, they're not even existing anymore? Because I realize that we're wasting our money. So what's happened to the industry? The indie artists no longer release songs here, producers from here. Whereas there was a company and they used to sell vocals from India to all the other producers and everyone was getting on it. Whereas myself, I've never done that. Anyone I work with is a one-to-one direct contact. Like now, I've done a deal with Tanveer Gogi, and I'm going to be releasing a lot of his stuff on my next catalogues. There's be a lot of solo stuff coming out of Tanveer Gogi, and I'm already working on some major stuff with him.
Amazing.
And he's a wicked singer, but forgotten about because he's not been able to get back in the industry because of finances and difficulties of where people left him. He gave vocals to someone else. That agent took the vocals and sold them to DJs and everyone else. Here, the contracts are all expired because he goes, I only signed 5 years. This is now going back 15, 16 years. And now I told him them songs are not going to work here, which means more work.
Yeah.
Bro, it's a very hard industry.
It's almost been 2 hours. It's been absolutely amazing chatting with you.
Bro, you know what it is? Time is nothing compared to experiences and what people need to know. Because a lot of people make their own scenarios and stories up about people like myself. They don't know me. I tell you, nobody knows me the way True School and Punjabi MC knows me. I say it blatantly.
Because in my opinion,
they think they know me. They don't know me, bro.
Yeah.
मेरे इत्थे कोई रिश्तेदार भी होंदा ना जो मेरे घर च कोई आर्टिस्ट होंदा मैं दाल पानी रोटी पानी मैं आप अपने हत्थी बनाऊंगा.
Amazing.
I'll stop the studio work, get straight into the kitchen, and I'll cook nice food. And the lads will tell you I do it all the time for them.
This is great. That's what I mean. It's going to be brilliant.
Because you know what I've always said, you don't have to be a good chef to make a curry. What you need is the knowledge. The knowledge is where the mataz and the swad is. And what we got a problem with here is people don't want to use that knowledge anymore. They just want the quick bucks, get out of here, bang. I've seen artists coming over to me with real crap songs, and then I've refused them. They've still gone away, done the same crap, done a video, and then they've come back and said, what do you think of that? You already heard what I think of it when I rejected it. What part of that don't you understand?
Yeah. So, bro, we're just going to wrap up now. So, I normally ask, as I said, this is this podcast about musical excellence. So, what advice would you give to any musician, any singer, to pursue, get excellent in music like yourself?
It doesn't matter what you're doing, learn a little bit. I'm only talking about a very small fraction to learn something. Learn on YouTube. There's so many different aspects of learning something about music. I'm going to use the word something in a very wide scope. There's something for everybody to learn something to come into the game. Don't just become a singer just because your mum said you sound good in the bathroom. You might have a song with the ticky stuck somewhere and, you might sound good with that, but don't come up with that. Come up with good stuff. Come up with new melodies. Make your own melodies. They don't have to be great. They could be great when they go to a producer. Spend some money. Spend the right money with the right producers. There's plenty out there. I'm not saying come to me, but if you want good stuff, come to me. Why not?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
I wouldn't mess around. I'd give them quality, and I wouldn't give quantity. I'd give quality, and that's where the big Q comes into it. Quantize the music, make it good. I've learned a lot of skills from people at Punjabi MC through language, through communication, not even doing anything practical, but asking the right questions. You learn a lot. You know, there's certain elements of music that not everyone knows. You might learn something, and then if you ask the right question, you can learn that a bit more better, what you thought you already learned. Because now you're working on it one step higher. You understand? The steps for everybody. You might be a keyboard player, but you might not be the best keyboard player, but there might be something that you might show me that I think is great. That skill needs to be expanded on. And I've heard it, let's expand on it. Bro, I'm talking, you only need a small pinch to start progressing. And also, encouragement is a big failure in our industry where people are not encouraged enough. They don't get the right encouragement from the right people. They look up to a lot of people, the ones that want to get in the game, but looking up to someone and then that somebody that's up there is not giving you that encouragement, it breaks your heart. Bro, I've sat in big meeting rooms, yeah, with big labels. I'm talking Gora labels as well, where we've sat there for like 2 hours. Bukenunge is the word I would use, yeah, waiting like dogs, you know, that they're going to give us a deal. Let's see what offer we could get. Let's see what we can get. And then they come out of the office after they've had a refresh, maybe even a shower and, you know, gone out for a hot chocolate and crap, yeah, and they come back and tell us we're rejected. That doesn't mean to say you're rejected because they said. That just means they don't like your stuff. Okay, you take it somewhere else to another couple of guys and they're going to love your stuff. You know, people are very discouraged and they're very quick to complain about, oh, how about doing it yourself then? And realizing the steps. And if you are going to realize the steps, learn them as well. Bro, it's not easy. I've never said the game's easy. I've never said anything I've done's been easy. It's never easy.
Bro,
but at the end of the day, you gotta be able to, you know, join a few things up, join the missing links, and start making a chain of productivity. And I believe I've done that. I'm a prime example of that, alongside many other artists. What label was I with? Natural Records. After that, he never done jack for me. After 5 years, I was sitting, waiting. I pulled out my next album, single after single, and I carried on. And now I'm at a stage where people that don't listen to my music, eventually they're finding they have to listen to my music. Because I've created an industry where it's my industry, it's my circle. I've not
100%.
gone into no one else's circle. You understand? I've not dwelled into using someone's name to get my own stuff out of there. I've never used Punjabi MC or True School or any other artist I know. You know, anybody, I know loads of people, I've not used them as my headliners for me to get on a ladder. They've always been beneath me.
Bro, thank you so much. So, guys, that was my big brother, Raj Jassal, Desi Dark Child. And, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, I've enjoyed it. Because what we got to do next time I'm in Warwick, right? I'm gonna give you a ring and we're gonna get some food. All right?
Yeah, man, come down definitely. Man.
Yeah, we'll after work one day we'll get some
definitely,
food or something.
Definitely,
we'll sit down and we'll have some food. Because you know what, I personally feel like I've sat with my big brother, and he's told me about all his life stories. That's the vibe I've got from you, bro.
Bro, you know, I'm like, I'm getting old now, and the thing is, you know, the experience has been non-stop, and every day I get up, there's something new. There's a new sort of hurdle I gotta come and go over. There's something new that I'm meeting. I'm making contact with that many singers directly. Some are good, some are poor, and some. When I use the word poor, I mean financially they can't even get money in their phone because they've been that hard done by. And then I'm there helping them, and I'm thinking to myself, in a way, I'll be blessed to help these people, you know. And I do my hardest, you know, I work my hardest to make sure everyone's like getting a chance. Even with Omar, he wasn't a rich guy, he was just an average household. and his hustle was music, and nobody ever promised him an album, not even one album. So I said, I'll do the album. You come up with the goods, I'll come up with the melodies. We work together. That's now ended up as 2 albums plus singles I got. And, you know, unfortunately, he's not here with us to see this, but his family is, and they're always like messaging me, his daughters, his son, his wife, and they're always messaging me, keeping in touch, which is a nice thing. And because a lot of people, once they go, nobody keeps in touch with them. So, you know, I've had that link with them, and basically I've kept them up to date. And they've heard the album and stuff like that, and they're very proud and pleased that, you know, I've carried their dad's wishes, and I'm still carrying on with that. So I feel great doing that, you know. Yeah, man.
Absolutely. So, guys, where can we catch you, bro, on social media? Where can the audience
bro, just look out for the posters, look out for the new album, singles. The new album is called Alcohol Vol 2. If you haven't got Vol 1, you can go on iTunes and look it up under Desi Dark Child Records. It's all there, man. So please support good music like myself. And
where can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, follow us on Raj Jassal /Facebook.com 731. Follow me on there. Follow me on TikTok, Desi Dark Child. Follow me wherever you want to follow me, but just make sure if you want any questions answering, make sure you inbox me, and I'll try and, you know, answer and reply to you as soon as I can. And everyone, legit. You know, support good music. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely. And any new artists that are struggling, please get in touch. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to produce something for you if we can work on it. If we can't, I'll tell you straight. So yeah, man, just keep it all locked, keep it fresh.
And guys, and that's absolutely legit, because every time I've chatted to Buddy, he's messaged me straight away. There's never been any like, you know, oh, I'm too big for this person. That's not how Buddy is.
No.
He's great, yeah. So guys, also, if you leave a review, if as Buddy said, just follow him on his socials, and check out the new album coming out as well. And if you leave a review, if it's bad, leave it for me. If it's good, leave it for Buddy, right?
It should be all good, man. It should be all good. Everyone just support everyone. Life's too short. You know, just get out good music and enjoy what we got. And let's, you know, at the end of the day, with what's going on around the world, we're not living in a steady world. We're living in a very fragile times. And for our children and for our Punjabi culture, the last thing we want to do is be challenging one another, whereas we've got enough challenges in life as it is. Financially burdens, people that need your help, go out there and help them. And the way I look at it, I've heard a lot of hidden talent in the UK, and I'm pressing for that talent, that if you're not getting the support, please contact me, and I'm happy to help you as much as I can. I will try and help you. That's you know, just get in touch.
Absolutely, guys. So thank you so much. I'm going to stop the record button and keep the conversation going. But thank you so much for listening. And as always, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bless you guys.